Do you believe that magic spells are just superstition? What if I told you that magic is actually an ancient and powerful science that has been misunderstood for centuries? Discover how ancient civilizations used spells to shape reality and how you can apply this knowledge today to quickly transform your life. Get ready to be amazed. Let's talk about magic. When we hear this word, we often think of fairy tales, witches on flying brooms, or illusionist tricks. But real magic goes far beyond these representations. It is often seen by society as mere superstition or even witchcraft. However, what many don't know is that magic is actually an ancient science, deeply rooted in the use of consciousness and natural forces. Can you imagine, for a moment, living in a time when modern scientific knowledge did not yet exist? Our ancestors in various parts of the world observed nature with a keen eye and sought to understand the mysteries of the universe around them. For them, magic was a way to interact with these invisible forces and manifest their desires in tangible reality. Spells, for example, are a form of spiritual technology. It might seem like a strange expression, but think of spells as tools created to help direct energy and intention. Just as we use technology today to make life easier, spells were used to bring about desired outcomes, whether for healing, protection, or transformation. What makes magic fascinating is its foundation in consciousness. Modern science is just beginning to understand the power of the mind and how it influences the world around us. Our thoughts, intentions, and emotions have a real impact on our life experiences. And this is exactly what ancient magic knew for millennia. They believed that by aligning consciousness with certain natural forces, it was possible to shape reality according to one's will. The next time you hear the word magic, try to think beyond the stereotypes. Imagine an ancient practice that combines science, spirituality, and a deep understanding of the natural world. A practice that sees reality not as something fixed and immutable, but as something fluid that can be transformed through intention and focus. This is the true essence of magic that has been misunderstood for centuries. Have you ever stopped to think about how your thoughts and feelings affect your life? In magic, consciousness plays a central role. The idea is simple but powerful. What we focus our attention on tends to manifest in our reality. This is not just an esoteric belief. Even modern science, through quantum physics, is beginning to recognize the impact of the observer on reality. Our ancestors knew this intuitively and structured their magical practices around this understanding. When we talk about spells, we are talking about practices that use directed intention. Imagine that your mind is like a magnifying glass. Without focus, the light spreads and has little effect. But when you concentrate that light on a specific point, it can even start a fire. In the same way, focused intention can be incredibly powerful. An effective spell begins with a clear intention. It is necessary to define what you want to achieve with precision. Then comes the element of visualization. Visualizing the desired outcome in as much detail as possible, as if it has already happened, is a crucial step. This practice helps the mind align with the goal, making it more real and tangible. Emotion also plays a vital role. Emotions are like the driving force behind intention. A spell charged with strong emotion, whether it is love, hope, or even anger, has much more power than an apathetic intention. Emotional energy gives life to the spell, propelling it into the universe with vigor. Another interesting aspect is faith. Believing in the process is essential. Doubt can undermine the effectiveness of the spell, weakening the intention and dispersing the energy. Our ancestors knew this and often incorporated elements of faith and devotion into their practices, not just as a ritual, but as a way to ensure that the mind and heart were fully aligned with the goal. Magic is not just about words spoken or actions performed. It is about the consciousness and intention we put behind those words and actions. It is a delicate dance between mental focus, visualization, emotion, and faith. When all these elements come together, the result can be truly transformative. Now that we understand the role of consciousness and intention, let's talk about the rituals and techniques that give shape to magic spells. The structure of rituals is crucial. as they function as a roadmap that guides energy and intention in an organized and effective manner. Rituals are established practices that follow a specific sequence of actions. They may seem elaborate and complex, but each step has a clear purpose. Imagine a ritual as a cooking recipe. Each ingredient and step is carefully chosen to create a delicious dish. In the same way, each element of a magic ritual is selected to achieve a specific result. One of the central elements of many magic rituals is visualization, as I mentioned earlier. Visualizing the goal of the spell with vivid details is essential. For example, if the goal is to attract prosperity, the practitioner can visualize themselves receiving money, feeling the joy and gratitude of that experience. This visualization helps the mind align with the desired reality. Dance and movement can also be part of rituals. In many cultures, dance is used to raise energy and enter a trance state. This altered state of consciousness can facilitate connection with higher forces and help direct the energy of the spell. Dance releases blockages and allows energy to flow freely, making the ritual more powerful. Meditation is another common technique in magic rituals. Meditation helps calm the mind and focus intention. It is a way to clear the mind of distractions and prepare the practitioner for the magical work. Deep meditation can lead to expanded states of consciousness, where intuition and insight are more accessible. The use of symbolic objects such as candles, crystals, and herbs is frequent in magic rituals. Each object has its own meaning and energy. Candles, for example, can represent light and transformation. Crystals can amplify energy, and herbs can bring their own healing or protective properties to the ritual. The choice of these objects is not random. Each one is chosen to support the intention of the spell. Enchantments or power words are often recited during rituals. These enchantments are more than just words. They are sound vibrations that carry energy. Repeating enchantments helps focus the mind and intensify the intention. In many cultures, words are believed to have creative power, and enchantments are a way to release this power. The rituals and techniques of magic spells are structured to channel energy effectively. They combine visualization, movement, meditation, symbolic objects, and enchantments to create an environment where intention can manifest. These elements work together harmoniously, like a symphony, to transform intention into reality. To truly understand the depth and power of magic spells, it is essential to look back at the ancient civilizations that mastered these arts. In ancient Egypt, magic, or Heka as they called it, was an integral part of daily and religious life. The Egyptians believed that magic was a divine force given to humans by the gods. They used spells for protection, healing, and to ensure safe passage to the afterlife. The Book of the Dead, a famous collection of funerary texts, is an example. It contained enchantments that guided the dead through the underworld. Egyptian priests were masters of the art of spells, using hieroglyphs, amulets, and complex rituals to channel energies and achieve their intentions. In ancient India, magic was deeply intertwined with spirituality. The Vedas, ancient sacred texts, contain hymns and enchantments used to invoke gods and cosmic energies. The Atharva Veda, in particular, is a compendium of spells and enchantments for healing diseases, warding off evil spirits, and ensuring success and prosperity. Additionally, practices like yoga and meditation were used to elevate consciousness and channel pranic energy, essential in the execution of spells and rituals. Ancient China also has a rich tradition of magic and alchemy. Taoism, a philosophy and spiritual practice that emerged in China, includes many magical elements. Taoists sought harmony with the Tao, the vital force that permeates the universe, and used spells, talismans, and elixirs to achieve immortality and well-being. Feng Shui, the art of harmonizing the environment, is another example of how the Chinese used esoteric knowledge to attract prosperity and health. Indigenous cultures around the world, from the Americas to Africa and Australia, also developed unique magical practices. Shamans, the spiritual leaders of these cultures, were considered intermediaries between the physical and spiritual worlds. They used spells, dance rituals, chants, and sacred plants to heal, protect, and bring balance to their communities. Shamanic magic is deeply connected with nature, honoring the spirits of animals, plants, and elements. These ancient civilizations shared a common understanding. Magic was a way to channel invisible energies and influence the material world. They saw the universe as a living fabric, where everything was interconnected. Through spells and rituals, they believed they could touch the hidden forces that govern life and thus shape their destiny. To fully understand magic, we need to explore its fundamental principles, those that connect the mind, nature, and matter. These principles form the foundation on which magical practice is built and help us understand how and why magic works. The first principle is the connection between mind and matter. In many magical traditions, it is believed that the mind has the power to influence matter. This means that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions can literally shape the reality around us. This concept is rooted in the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected. When a person casts a spell, they are essentially using their mind to send a wave of energy that influences the material world. Another crucial principle is polarity. Polarity refers to the opposing forces that exist in the universe, such as light and darkness, positive and negative, active and passive. In magical practice, understanding and balancing these polarities is essential. For example, many rituals involve harmonizing the masculine and feminine, the yin and yang, to create a state of perfect balance. This balance is seen as necessary for energy to flow harmoniously and effectively. The harmony between order and chaos is also fundamental. Order represents structure, logic, and stability, while chaos represents creativity, potential, and change. Magic often seeks to navigate between these two states, using the structure of rituals, order, to channel creative and transformative energy, chaos. This principle reminds us that for magic to work, there must be a balance between discipline and flexibility, between following the rules and allowing spontaneity. Another fundamental principle is correspondence. This is the famous as above, so below, which suggests that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. In practical terms, this means that what happens in our mind and spirit is reflected in the physical world. For example, a healing spell not only treats the physical body, but also seeks to align the mind and spirit with health and well-being. This correspondence helps us understand that magic operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Energy is the vital force that permeates everything. In magical practice, the ability to manipulate and direct this energy is crucial. Energy can be accumulated through various techniques, such as meditation, dance, singing, or even the use of certain objects. Once accumulated, this energy is directed towards a specific goal, whether it be healing, protection, or transformation. Magic, then, is seen as the art of manipulating this energy to create changes in the world. Finally, we have intuition and insight. Magical practice often requires a deep understanding that goes beyond logic and reason. Intuition is the ability to understand something instantly, without the need for conscious reasoning. It is through intuition that magic practitioners are able to sense energies, perceive invisible influences, and make quick and accurate decisions during a ritual. These fundamental principles of magic show us that magical practice is a delicate dance between mind, nature, and matter. It requires a deep understanding of the interconnections in the universe and the ability to navigate between polarities, energies, and correspondences. It is a practice that invites us to balance order and chaos, and to trust both our intuition and our ability to shape reality. Now that we have talked about the fundamentals and practice of magic, it is crucial to address an aspect that is often overlooked: the risks and responsibilities involved in magical practice. Magic is not something to be taken lightly, and understanding the possible consequences is essential for any practitioner. First, let's talk about ethics in magical practice. Ethics is the moral compass that guides a practitioner's actions. Many magical systems, such as Wicca, have the principle of do what you will as long as it harms no one. This is a reminder that magic, when used irresponsibly, can have negative consequences for both the practitioner and others. Manipulative spells, such as those that try to force someone to do something against their will, are particularly controversial. Individual freedom is an important principle, and interfering with it can lead to undesirable and karmically negative results. Another crucial point is understanding the potential dangers of irresponsibly used magic. Magic involves the manipulation of powerful energies, and if not handled correctly, it can get out of control. Imagine someone trying to drive a powerful car without having learned to drive properly. The risk of accidents is high. Similarly, casting spells without proper knowledge or preparation can result in unexpected repercussions. Uncontrolled energies can cause emotional, physical, and spiritual harm. Additionally, magic can have side effects that the practitioner may not foresee. A prosperity spell, for example, can bring wealth but can also attract envy or conflicts if not carefully planned and executed. The famous law of threefold return, present in many magical traditions, suggests that whatever we do returns to us 3 times stronger. This means that irresponsible or negative actions can come back with greater intensity, causing more harm than good. The responsibility of a magic practitioner also includes caring for their own mental and emotional health. Magical practice can be exhausting and can drain the practitioner's energy if not performed with balance. It is vital to have a strong sense of self-care and know when to stop to avoid burnout. Meditation and other grounding practices are essential to maintain balance and mental clarity. Another important aspect is protection. Before performing any spell or ritual, it is essential to create a safe environment. This can involve creating protective circles, using amulets, or specific enchantments to ward off negative energies. Ignoring these protective practices can leave the practitioner vulnerable to negative influences or psychic attacks. Finally, honesty with oneself is a fundamental responsibility. Practicing magic requires self-reflection and self-awareness. A practitioner must always ask themselves, what is the true intention behind this spell? Am I prepared to deal with the consequences? Being honest about one's motivations and limitations is crucial for safe and ethical magical practice. The practice of magic carries great responsibility. It requires a deep ethical understanding, care for mental and emotional health, and the implementation of protective measures. When performed with respect and awareness, magic can be a powerful tool for personal growth and positive transformation. But when used irresponsibly, it can have serious and unexpected consequences. Therefore, anyone who ventures into magical practice must do so with seriousness, respect, and a clear understanding of the risks and responsibilities involved. To fully understand the trajectory of magic, we need to look at its renaissance and evolution in the modern era. Magic never completely disappeared. It just changed and adapted to new eras, finding ways to revive and transform itself. In the 19th century, there was a significant revival of interest in occult philosophies and metaphysics. This period, known as the Occult Revival, saw the emergence of numerous secret societies and esoteric orders that sought to rediscover and revitalize ancient magical knowledge. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, founded in 1888, is a prominent example. This order combined teachings from the Kabbalah, alchemy, tarot, and ceremonial magic, and profoundly influenced the development of modern magical practices. During this era, figures like Aleister Crowley stood out. Crowley, a member of the Golden Dawn, founded his own magical philosophy called Thelema, which emphasized the importance of individual will. He was a controversial figure, but his work helped shape modern magic, introducing concepts such as the true will and the pursuit of personal realization through magic. At the same time, Helena Blavatsky co-founded the Theosophical Society, which sought to unify the spiritual traditions of the East and West. Blavatsky brought to light the esoteric wisdom of ancient civilizations and promoted the idea of a universal spiritual truth. Theosophy influenced many thinkers and subsequent spiritual movements, paving the way for a more holistic understanding of magic and spirituality. Moving into the 20th century, we saw magic adapt even further to the modern world. Wicca, a modern pagan religion founded by Gerald Gardner in the 1950s, brought magic into the public sphere in a new way. Wicca combined elements of folk traditions, ceremonial practices, and occult philosophy. emphasizing the connection with nature and the cycle of the seasons. The Wiccan movement grew rapidly, especially in the United States and Europe, becoming one of the most recognizable forms of modern magic. Furthermore, the counterculture of the 1960s and 1970s, with its focus on spiritual freedom and the exploration of alternative traditions, helped popularize magical and esoteric practices. Books on magic, occultism, and spirituality became widely available, allowing more people to explore these areas on their own. The New Age movement, with its emphasis on holistic practices and personal development, also helped integrate magic into the daily lives of many. In the 21st century, magic continued to evolve, embracing the digital age. Online communities flourished, allowing practitioners from around the world to connect, share knowledge, and develop new practices. Meditation apps, instructional videos on rituals, and social networks dedicated to esoteric discussions made magic more accessible than ever. Today, magic is a diverse and inclusive practice that combines ancient traditions with modern innovations. It continues to be a powerful tool for those seeking to transform their lives and understand the world around them in a deeper way. Contemporary adaptations of magic spells include everything from self-care rituals and mindfulness practices to creating sacred spaces in urban environments. Subscribe to our channel and take the opportunity to watch the video currently on the screen.